So we've been hearing all kinds of stuff about possible Game Boy games coming to the Switch with the Nintendo Online service, but now we're starting to hear even more rumors, and in my opinion, even better ones, that we are not only getting those Game Boy games, but we're getting Nintendo 64 games. Just for fun, in today's video, I want to go over what Nintendo 64 games I would love to see come to the Switch.
Really quick before we get any further in the video, I want to tell you about today's sponsor, Winner Winner. Winner Winner is an app that you can download right on your phone and play real claw machines. Yes, real claw machines right from your phone and win real prizes shipped to your door. You can win things like toys, games, even electronics, or you can trade them in for tickets and save up for an even bigger prize. And right now, you could even win a Nintendo Switch. So make sure you guys check the link down in the description of this video and check out Winner Winner in your app store. Once again, the link is below, and thank you very much to Winner Winner for sponsoring this video.
All right, the first few I think are gonna be the most obvious ones. They're the heavy hitters. They're the big Nintendo 64 games, but they are a little bit strange because this might change some things that we've already had or maybe are getting. We're talking about Super Mario 64. Obviously, we already got it once on the Switch with Super Mario 3D All-Stars Collection, but I think we would get a more true to the original version in the online stuff. I don't think they're gonna give us the exact thing we got there. I don't think they would do that. I think we'll just get the simplified version, but I feel like if you're bringing 64 games to the Switch, that one's gotta be a part of this. I think the next two are pretty obvious as well. Majora's Mask, Ocarina of Time. Those ones have to be included. I think, again, if you're doing something like this, bringing 64 games, those three games, especially those three games, absolutely have to be included in this service. Now, I know we've been talking a lot about an HD version or a remaster of the 3DS versions of these games, which I think could still actually happen, and honestly, I think is still happening. I think with these, again, we would get the original version. We would get the same version that was actually on the Nintendo 64. I know that sounds weird to have the same game in HD that you're selling and then the original version on the online, but who really knows what they're gonna do? But thinking about it a little bit, I do think that it is possible that we would see both the HD version sold and the regular version with the Switch Online. Continuing with the ones that I think are pretty self-explanatory, the ones we're definitely gonna be seeing, I think Mario Kart 64 will definitely be a part of this service. For those of you who haven't played it, Mario Kart 64 is a really fun Mario Kart. I think playing this version of Mario Kart Online would be a whole lot more fun than playing the Super Nintendo version. Honestly, at this point, the Super Nintendo version is good, yeah, it's fine, you know, it's the original, but Mario Kart 64 definitely stepped it up a notch, and I think it would be great to play online. This next one was one of my absolute favorite Nintendo 64 games, and I'm talking about Star Fox 64. This is probably, in my opinion, the best Star Fox game there's ever been. I remember this is the game they made a big deal about the Rumble pack that went in the back of the 64 controller. That was back in the day before Rumble was just inside of all the controllers that you had. But they made a really big deal about that with this game, but it was so much fun because in each level, there were little secrets. Like the first one, if you shot this certain thing or opened up this certain door, you could go through the waterfall and fight a different boss than the normal one you would fight. And that would take you to a different planet. So there were sets of planets that you could go through, and the game didn't take that long, but it was always a different path you went depending on what secret you unlocked. It's a great Star Fox game. It's a ton of fun. I feel like ever since then, they've been trying to capture the magic of that Star Fox game and just haven't quite got it again. So I'd love to see this one on the Switch in any way, even if they just remade it. I would love to play this game. Another game I think they would absolutely have to include in this is Donkey Kong 64. This was, like Mario, the first 3D Donkey Kong game, and it was a ton of fun. I didn't play it all the way through back then. I think we rented it a few times. I don't think we own this one, but it was a lot of fun. I would love to see this one come back, and I'd like to see another Donkey Kong made in this style. We haven't had a 3D Donkey Kong game since then. Maybe the rumored Donkey Kong game we're hearing about is something like this, and to bring this to the Switch and let people see this first, especially those who haven't, might get a lot more people interested in a 3D Donkey Kong if that is what they are planning for the next entry in the series. This one I'm not sure about, but I really would like to see it. The original Pokemon Snap. Obviously, you guys know I had a blast with new Pokemon Snap. I loved it. I played the old one a decent amount, probably not as much as I've played the new one, but I would love to go back and revisit the old one on the Switch and let a lot of other people who haven't ever played it see where that game came from. I don't know how they're gonna handle the Pokemon games if they decide to do that. I'm not sure if it's gonna be some weird thing with the Pokemon. I don't know how they're gonna do that. But I'm still kind of up in the air on those. I don't know how that's gonna play out if we actually see these 64 games come to the Switch. Next one on the list has to be Wave Race 64. If you have not played Wave Race 64, you are missing out. This game, while it's very simple, it's an absolute blast to play. And it literally is what it sounds like. You race jet skis, that's it. Not a lot going on here. It's a very simple idea of game. It's a racing game, but you're on water, you're on jet skis. You can jump things, you can do corkscrews and flips and stuff. It's really fun. I'd love to see that one put on there as well. Kind of sticking with that type of game, another game I would love to see come to the Switch is 1080 Snowboarding. Again, I played this game to death when I was a kid. I remember the first time I actually landed a 1080 in the big half pipe. We went absolutely nuts. This game was one of the many reasons why the stick on my Nintendo 64 controllers were so loose. Just trying to spin it, to try to get those spins and make sure you got a 1080 or 900. The downhill races in the game, absolutely a blast. These next two I'm going to talk about, probably not going to be on this because of licensing issues, obviously, but there are two games that I played on the Nintendo 64. That is Star Wars Rogue Squadron and Star Wars Shadows of the Empire. So Rogue Squadron is pretty much you in an X-Wing or an A-Wing. You're just flying around doing missions. It was actually a pretty tough game. It was a ton of fun. It was one I think was a little bit too tough for me as a kid. I didn't get very far in it, but I always played up until that point where I just couldn't beat that level. That's as far as I got in the game, but me being a big Star Wars fan, I didn't care. I wanted to play those levels that I could play over and over, and if this came to the Switch now, I think at this point I'd probably be able to get a little bit further, so I would really like to see this happen. I think it's a long shot. I think there's too many things with the licensing, and who knows, we may see these come separately. We've already seen Episode 1 Racer come to the Switch, so who knows, we could see Star Wars Rogue Squadron come in the exact same way. The other one, Shadows of the Empire, it's kind of a side story between The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. You play as a completely different character, but there's familiar characters all throughout the game. If you ever get a chance to play this game and you're a Star Wars fan, I highly recommend it if you haven't. It's a ton of fun. Pilot Wings 64. This game was also very fun. The Nintendo 64 is just full of bangers, honestly. The Nintendo 64 had so many good games. Pilot Wings 64 was so much fun. I'll show some gameplay of it here, but essentially, you're flying, you're hang gliding, you're in a little one-person plane. I believe at some point you have to parachute and try to land in certain spots. It was just a blast. It was a lot of fun to play this game. I believe this is one of the games we had with it that first Christmas, along with Cruisin' USA. As you guys know, I just did a review on Cruisin' Blast. That game was fun. The whole reason I even wanted to play that game was because of how much I love Cruisin' USA. Now, it's a lot simpler and a lot more straightforward than what the Cruisin' series has evolved into, but still, really good arcade racer, and another one that I played a ton of. Now, there's a lot of games I've probably left off this list, but we're gonna put one more on before we wrap this up, and I think it's got to be the original Super Smash Bros. I feel like this is one that would absolutely have to be included in this service. For someone who's into Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, to go back and play a game like this and see where it all came from, I think would be really cool. You know, a lot of competitive Smash people obviously have played it. They've played all of them. But for the people who aren't competitive but still really like the one that we have now, I think it would be really cool for those people to go back and see what it was like back then, when you didn't have a million characters to choose from. How many were on the original roster? I don't even remember. Not many. But guys, that's what I got for this one. I think those would be the games that I would love to see come to the 64 online if we got it. I don't know if we're actually gonna get it, but let me know what games I left off the list that you wanna see for the Nintendo Online service if we do end up getting these Nintendo 64 games. I'm crossing my fingers. I really hope this happens. But guys, as always, thank you so much for watching this video. Please leave a like, make sure you're subscribed. We'll see you in the next one.